What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back and from SFist. And shout out SFist. I actually used to intern for this company many years ago. They say San Francisco Sheriff's Department to employ emergency unit to crack down on drug users as part of Breed plan. So San Francisco Mayor London Breed, who is easily one of the most corrupt politicians in the country, shout out to her, and Mohammed Nuru in the gifts that she accepted to fix her car, even though she was the highest paid mayor in the country. She couldn't afford $6,000 to fix her car. And of course, Nuru was arrested, and she ended up paying about $23,000 in ethics violation, which of course is a drop in the bucket. And if that's what she admitted to doing, imagine what she actually did that she hasn't admitted to. But that's not what this particular story is about. And now she is pretending that she's going to clean up the streets of San Francisco, even though when she said that maybe it's these Honduran immigrants that are causing most of this, flooding the streets with drugs, they called her a racist. So when she actually tries to do something, she's not allowed by the extremists in the city. And unfortunately, nothing's going to change, at least not for the better. It might continue to get worse. But they don't want anything to change. They're not going to fix anything that's not on their agenda. They will pretend it is. But even if it were and they actually wanted to change stuff, it's too late because they've already let the criminals in the city know that they are in charge. The criminals, that is, not the politicians. The politicians are in charge of the regular people, and they will tax you through the roof. But the junkies are going to get free reign, and the criminals are going to get free reign as well. So while they are handing out free needles and they don't know where to send you to try to kick the habit, while New York is catering to criminals with shoplifting kiosks to help you get resources so you don't steal anymore, and free crack pipes out of a vending machine, while that's all happening, she's pretending that she's going to crack down. And it was a couple of months ago she declared a state of emergency in the Tenderloin, which meant absolutely nothing. But they say, just in time for tourists to descend on downtown San Francisco for Pride at the end of June, San Francisco sheriff's deputies will be out in force making arrests for drug dealing and open-air drug use as part of Mayor London Breed's previously announced plan. And so this, I guess, coincides with their brand new multi-million-dollar marketing campaign to get tourists to come back to the city because everybody knows that it's all covered with tents and needles and human feces. And one of the largest hotel owners is deciding that, hey, the city's not for me. Shopping, businesses, retailers continue to leave. Whole Foods, Nordstrom, Saks Fifth Avenue, Walgreens, the list goes on. Park 55, which of course is the hotel. I mean, it's just nonstop. So I guess they get a fraction of a percentage point of credit for at least acknowledging this is actually happening, even though we all know they're not going to do anything about it. Just like Hunter Biden, right? Everybody knows that Hunter Biden is a completely corrupt literal crackhead or recovering crackhead who's done a bunch of illegal things along with the Biden crime family, but nothing will ever happen. It's a slap in the face to regular people. Anybody that's paying attention knows how crooked and corrupt it is. But luckily, in these deep blue one-party rule cities, everybody's all brainwashed. So they don't know what's going on, right? They're smoking weed all day. They don't know what's going on. They're self-vaccinating under their Bay Bridge. They don't know what's going on. They've hollowed out the middle class. Anybody who's not going to capitulate to all of their weirdo demands is eventually going to leave. It's just the way it is. There was a press conference outside City Hall Thursday morning with San Francisco Sheriff Paul Miyamoto, District Attorney Brooke Jenkins, and several city supervisors to announce that the Sheriff's Department's Emergency Services Unit will be taking charge of a new initiative to arrest drug users and coerce them into treatment. Yeah, kind of like they coerce people into getting a pharmaceutical that they may or may not have wanted. Of the deputies that will be deployed, I guess there's a typo here. Of the deputies that will be deployed, Yamamoto said in a Thursday release, their objectives are very simple: to eradicate open-air drug use and to assist those suffering from harmful behavior into program and services, support current efforts to disrupt drug sales, increase public safety with greater visible law enforcement presence. Now, these are the people that a couple years ago were crying that every police officer on the face of the planet was a racist, until there's broken glass, not literally, but figuratively, every square inch of San Francisco, and all they do is put up a little sign saying, don't leave your valuables in your car. So they pass the buck to somebody who's actually owns a car or leases a car or whatever, it's your problem. You should stop it. Don't leave a penny in the cup holder. Don't leave an iPhone charger in the center console, because that's your fault when these guys will smash and grab you in a matter of seconds. Ask CNN about that one. The sheriff also noted that ESU deputies have specialized training for handling situations that, quote, require intervention for destructive or criminal behavior. Yeah, I'm sure. You let it get this bad and now you're going to pretend you're going to stop it? No way. You don't have a leg to stand on. You let them take charge. You let them take control. You let regular San Franciscans get walked all over, and now you're pretending we're going to stop it. You declare states of emergencies and bring in the National Guard. It's too late. Nobody's buying it. That's why businesses are leaving left and right. They may not have as many citizens leaving like New York. They're all fleeing down to Florida. But I guess it's just easier for a New Yorker to get to Florida than a San Franciscan to get to LA. And LA is just as bad as San Francisco, so they have to go to Austin, Texas, or Nevada, or Arizona. I don't know. We are not advocating for harsher punishments or increased incarceration for those struggling with harmful choices. So there you have it right there. We're pretending that we're going to send in these emergency units, but because this is how delusional they are. We're not actually gonna punish people or make them stop. So what are you doing? You've negated everything. You've negated the entire headline by just saying we're not advocating for punishments or incarceration. We just want people to stop living this weird utopia, and they know it's not going to work. No, none of these people, I do not believe that any of these San Francisco politicians actually go home at night and think that they did a good job. They know exactly what's happening. It's all very manipulative. And they're walking on these eggshells as not to anger the handful of extremists, because even in San Francisco, most people still see through it. And I am of the mindset that when you talk to a couple people one-on-one, if you were to go do street interviews in San Francisco, most people would be able to see through it. But it's that herd mentality that they all get together in this mob and they look at each other and they need reassurance that, and they're scared because they think the mob's going to turn on them. But when you pluck them out one by one, they're going to tell you the truth. And that's what cops do, right? When you catch it's not going to happen in San Francisco because they're not going to stop anybody. But if you catch a handful of, thugs doing crime and you separate them, they're going to break. They're going to tell you the truth solo. That's how I see it, right? I could be completely wrong, but it's just hilarious that they're talking about we're going to stop the drug use, but we're not going to punish anybody. Give me a break, bro. Wake up. You guys are getting triggered. Sorry, moving on. While it's an unpopular stance to take arresting and putting people in jail, it can be a critical gateway to help the needs to be a part of the multi-pronged approach. Okay. So it's unpopular to put criminals in jail. Yeah, I guess in San Francisco, but that's what the media wants you to think. I can guarantee you the person who gets their car broken into twice a month going to work doesn't mind if you put people in jail, right? I mean, every bipping, as it's known in San Francisco, breaking into people's cars is nonstop. Everybody from CNN to the mayor of Oakland has had their car broken into. And you want me to believe that most people think it's unpopular to put people in jail? I bet you if you ask them, they would say throw away the key. But the media is completely delusional. Miyamoto added, in many cases, individuals suffering from drug addiction only seek help when they hit their lowest point. Oh yeah, rocket science, bro. And the sad truth for many is that the low point is incarceration. When we remove the low point, we may be doing more harm than good by allowing them to continue. Okay, well that kind of makes sense. But you're still flip-flopping, bro. Take a stance and fix the problem. But of course, they don't actually want to fix the problem. So that's why they're saying, "Oh, we're going to stop the drug trade, but we don't want to punish people. We don't want to cause more harm. But they need to hit their low point." And then, dude, this mealy-mouthed nonsense. Fix it or don't. But what am I talking about? Obviously, they don't want to fix it, right? Nobody wants to fix it. They live up in their ivory towers, even though the Oakland mayor had her car broken into only a couple months ago. So who knows? The deployment of deputies, 130 in all, who will be working overtime, is set to begin at the end of June. Why the end of June? Why not start right now, right? Well, it's like, oh, we're going to end the emergency on May 11th. Why not just do it now? What difference does it make? The science says it's going to stop on May 11th. Give me a break. These people are absolute hacks, and their main goal, I'm convinced, is to destroy these cities and line their pockets. And I don't think that's that far-fetched. They will be out on the streets of the Tenderloin and Soma, the The Chronicle does not mention the Mission District, some parts of which have seen an uptick in drug dealing, and presumably this will be beginning ahead of Pride Sunday, when the area becomes crowded with tourists from around the region and country. Breed suggested that a special detention facility for drug users is being prepared that is not the county jail itself, but is not yet opened. Of course, they just need more money to create more things when you already... Why should you put a dope fiend who is most likely, not all, but most, doing illegal things to fund the habit? Why are they completely separate? Because you want to siphon more cash, asking the state government, asking the federal government, oh, we need a new facility to house the... Then what's next? Okay, the meth heads are going to go here. The fentanyl addicts are going to go here. The trank heads are going to go here. I mean, you want to create you already have a spot for them. It's called jail. Just do that. But of course they don't want to, because then they won't be able to ask for more money, siphon it through their own pockets, and, pop up a tent somewhere to put some junkies in on a city block. Breed has suggested, the effort to harass and penalize addicts, which has drawn criticism from many, including Supervisor Dean Preston. It's drawn criticism from many. I'll bet the people who have plastic bags and cardboard on their windshields are real critical of putting people in jail. Give me a break, bro. This media is just through the roof. Complete hacks. And of course, it's a big incestuous family, the corrupt media and the corrupt politicians. It's being framed as a compassionate act of harm reduction. And there's another one. Now, gender-affirming care is, of course, creme de la creme, the peak dystopian democratic doublespeak, but harm reduction is up there as well. Harm reduction, yeah. Like in New York, a vending machine full of crack pipes and steel wool and rubber bands and lip balm, that's harm reduction. Though Breed herself, at a May 23rd Board of Supervisors meeting, framed it the opposite way, suggesting that when it came to leaving drug users alone, compassion is killing people. Okay, she gets 1 point. Broken clock is right twice a day, I suppose. It is personal to me. Yeah, I guess because your brother was a crackhead who's doing, 40 years for killing somebody on the Golden Gate Bridge. But that, of course, is a different story, and I digress. What we are seeing in our city, said Supervisor Matt Dorsey. I thought that was London Breed speaking. I apologize. But for the record, her brother is in jail for killing somebody after a robbery in the late 90s or early 2000s. But I digress. Dorsey, who has been open about his own struggles with substance abuse and recovery. So now in New York, you have a delusional gender ideologue appointed to a position of power, a judge. And in San Francisco, you have junkies who have become supervisors. And these are the people that are in control of these places. You wonder. It isn't just because I used to be a drug addict. It's because I know there's a better life on the other side of drug addiction. The promise of recovery is what it's all about. Yeah, so you're hoping that these people recover by giving them free needles and crack pipes. And there's a notorious video, shout out to Savannah Hernandez and this guy Richie, I believe, who go get a whole box of drug paraphernalia. And then when they ask where they can go to, if they want to kick the habit, they say, I don't know. So they can give you syringes and needles, rubber bands, little water squirt bottles, steel wool, all this stuff. And they say, hey, man, I really want to get off this stuff. And anywhere I can go, they're like, we don't know. But we have free syringes, so what's it going to be, bro? And this guy's pretending that, yeah, we're going to help you get on the other side of addiction. They don't want you to be on the other side of addiction. And as soon as you get on the other side of addiction, they're going to replace you with an illegal. But I digress. Part of the solution, D.A. Jenkins said, is making sure that we have enough law enforcement on the ground in the Tenderloin, South of Market, and the Civic Center area to make sure that drug dealers understand that their behavior will not be tolerated any longer. So she's making it clear that it was tolerated. You could do whatever you want. And there's no putting the toothpaste back in the tube. You think they're going to listen to you now, and as soon as you arrest one, there's going to be a protest in the street, they're going to stop traffic. And that those struggling with addiction get help they so desperately need. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, we're going to help you. We're going to ask the federal government, we need more money. We're going to ask the state government, we're going to ask, greasy Gavin Newsom, we need more money. And then what? They're going to do a ribbon cutting and pretend that they're going to open up a center, and then it may or may not open. And if it does open, a handful of people are going to show up and then it's going to be defunct in 6 weeks. That's what's going to happen. Critics have been quick to make comparisons to the failed war on drugs and to warn that flooding the areas with cops probably isn't sustainable anyways. Yeah, well, this is the problem you brought. And do they really think that they're going to permanently get rid of drug dealers? Public defender Crystal Carpino told the Chronicle that tossing addicts in jail is not an act of compassion, and many are suffering a pretty wild detox on their own on the streets without needing to do so in jail. Yeah, why should they go in jail? And I mean, can you imagine the withdrawals they're gonna have? That's so evil. Don't worry about the guy's car that he just broke into, or the human feces that you just stepped in, or the syringe that went through the bottom of your shoe. Don't worry about that, because these junkies are gonna have withdrawals. Supervisor Preston tweeted on Tuesday, "Incredible our city is doing this in 2023, arresting, jailing people for their drug use. Yeah, it's illegal. That's what you should have been doing for decades, and you wouldn't be in this problem. This is the failed war on drugs, and it does serious harm. I'm deeply disappointed and outraged that any city leader would support this." So what is blatantly, clearly, and known to be illegal, he's outraged that people are being arrested for that. I mean, this is beyond parody. The tough talk and fresh round of action by Mayor Breed, who has previously announced other similar crackdowns in the Tenderloin over the past 2 years, comes amid talk of her poll numbers being particularly low. And as her first serious challenger has emerged for the 2024 mayor's race, it comes after months of talk about SF struggling/dying downtown, doom loops, and the closure announcements of major retail stores on mid-market, including Whole Foods, Nordstrom, Old Navy. The list goes on. So while this is all happening, right, these people are so delusional and so manipulative that they want you to believe that it's mean to put a dope fiend in jail, and completely ignoring the chaos that they've caused. I mean, you have to dodge. There's viral videos of kids getting off the 14 bus on Mission Street, dodging tents. It's a literal zombie land. Needles, poop, naked junkies, dirty. I've seen some. Look, I used to work in downtown San Francisco. I have seen some of the most disgusting stuff that I will not share, but it is burned. It is tattooed on my brain. Maybe I'll talk about it on the podcast. Tune in every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So, while San Francisco Mayor London Breed is pretending that she's going to crack down on the drug use, which she's not because she doesn't want to, but even if she wanted to, she wouldn't be able to, so it doesn't matter. Bay Area real estate value is fastest dropping in the nation, report says. I wonder if those two things are connected. I wonder if all the businesses, the retailers, the hotels leaving San Francisco have anything to do with why the prices might be dropping. Now, this, of course, could be considered a good thing because it is astronomically expensive to live in San Francisco and let the bums and the corrupt political establishment run roughshod over you if you don't capitulate. So I don't see anybody moving there. If you're from there, I'm from the area, and I don't knock anybody who can't get up and leave, even though where there's a will, there's a way. You should figure it out and leave these people in the dust if you have any common sense. But I don't see people going there, even if real estate prices are dropping, because I'm sure they're still going to be far above the national average. So corrupt mayor is pretending that she's going to stop the drug usage. Won't happen for a number of reasons. Real estate value is dropping, which is not ideal because it is partially a result of how disgusting and how criminal the city has become, but a good thing because it costs way too much to live there. And while that's happening, Governor Newsom, of course, who slept with his best friend's wife and blamed it on the alcohol and then somehow failed up from mayor of San Francisco to governor of the entire state, because that's just how the Democratic establishment works. Newsom proposes constitutional amendment to restrict gun rights. So while San Francisco and parts of Los Angeles, I can almost be certain, are overrun with criminals, he wants to make it harder for law-abiding citizens to get a gun. And my favorite part about this is that Newsom says a constitutional amendment, you don't even have to read the whole thing. Newsom says a constitutional amendment is needed to enact common sense gun safety laws. Now, that's hilarious because they want to talk about common sense. At the same time, they tell you that you can't go outside without a mask. You can't go to work or school without a forced pharmaceutical, as Gavin Newsom eats at, a Michelin star, 5-star, whatever fancy French Laundry restaurant. At the same time, they're telling you that you have to accept any grown man who is pretending to be a woman and let them read books to your kids, right? Gender, sexuality, it's all a spectrum, man. Man can be woman, woman can be man. If you don't agree with us, then you're a bigot. That's not common sense. But when he wants to talk about taking away your gun, somehow he wants to use the term common sense. None of this adds up. That's the point, though, is to create chaos and wield they're so power hungry. They're so drunk on power that they need more, right? Like they're addicted to it. So anything they have to do to get more power is exactly what they're going to do. And destroying the city is how they make their money. Destroying the country, if Gavin Newsom had it his way. And I've always said that if Governor Greasy Gavin Newsom gets anywhere near the levers of national power, then we need to kick this thing into hot, kinetic conflict. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.